Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today, guys, we're going to be diving down into the charts for Chainlink. Chainlink seems to be defying the odds here and actually battling up against what is going on with Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto space. It actually seems to be making some pretty good recovery and a bit push to the upside. So we're going to dive into the technical analysis on Link to see exactly what is going on. Now, if you find this video useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with every video that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. There's a link in the description down below to our Discord server and to our Patreon services. Why not check those out if you're looking for a little bit more from the crypto space? Right, with all that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump down into the desktop and take a look at what is going on here with Chainlink. Okay, guys, so this is just the weekly view to start with, right? We'll just kind of give you a bit of a view on what is going on here with Chainlink on the macro picture to start with. Then we're going to get into the nitty gritty of what's going on right now. So obviously we can see that we are, were oversold, and we're just moving out of this area now. Okay, this is something that many of these altcoins, and including Bitcoin, they're actually still sat firmly in that oversold area. They haven't actually progressed out yet, but there are a couple of coins that are starting to progress to the upside, right? The expected push to the upside that we've been talking about. Now, this is Chainlink in the case of this video, but also Harmony One, which you can see what's going on there as well. Both of these projects have started to actually move out of the oversold area, get back into a pretty good push to the upside overall. So looking pretty good from that kind of perspective, right? Now, the main thing we want to kind of focus in on is the 5 impulsive moves that we had here, that push to the upside. The 5th wave being pretty much where we actually see most of the 3rd waves kind of going. So basically, Chainlink actually kind of coincides more with what is going on with Bitcoin than things like, Cardano, Polkadot, Algorand, or any other kind of project out there. Their bull runs kind of start more around here with wave 1, whereas that's actually wave 2 for Chainlink, okay? So when we actually take a look at it from this perspective, we can see that there's an ABC correction here. Okay, and it's not impulsive down, so this isn't a bear market trigger, because it wasn't impulsive. It was short time frame. It was basically just a pullback with an ABC in nature, so relatively short. And the C wave had the potential to go down lower, but never actually did. Then we started to see a good run to the upside here. Now, this is an ABC in itself. We've labeled it as a 1 wave. Now, in the crypto space, we tend to find that these impulsive moves, you would normally expect to see 5 waves within your wave 1, followed by 3 waves in wave 2, 5 waves in wave 3, 3 waves inside wave 4, and then an additional 5 waves in the 5th wave, right? Now, the problem with this is in the crypto space, it's very volatile. It's a low market cap. It's basically so small, it doesn't necessarily align to what you might expect to see. Now, the other way that you kind of look at this is that we know that if wave or the C wave would be more than 1.382 that of wave 1, then we know it's impulsive in nature, okay? So regardless of the wave counts inside, we can utilize that to our advantage. That's why we can see here that there are not 5 waves inside wave 1, there are not 5 waves inside wave 3, and there are not 5 waves inside wave 5 here. Well, actually, there is. You could argue that there was actually 5 waves inside that one. But nonetheless, you get the idea here. We need to rely on additional technical analysis to help us understand whether something is impulsive or whether something is corrective. And in the most part here, we can see that this was just corrective in nature. This here is also looking corrective. It's an ABC, but I'm speculating that we might see a really big push with wave 3 here, and where we actually might end up seeing those 5 waves, okay? And again, measuring the distance of our A wave here, or this 1 wave, I've labeled it, and seeing whether or not we actually go past the 1.382. So right now, there's no guarantee that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves going up here, and we need to acknowledge that right now we could potentially see more downside, right? If we're following an ABC to the downside, right? We should acknowledge that. But for the most part, taking a look at that stochastic RSI, expecting that kind of push to the upside, we need to dive down a little bit deeper to see whether or not we are looking for any form of corrective action in here. So as I just expand this up, the first thing we want to kind of acknowledge here is obviously this whole entire pullback, this 1, 2, 3, 4 week move, right? So we're going to take it from our high point, and we're going to use a Fibonacci retracement tool from the bottom here, and then we're going to run it up to the top of this area. Okay, so this is basically the Fibonacci retracement. We're looking for where we are likely to bounce up to. The most typical area that you tend to see this on is obviously the 382 or the 236, equivalently the 618 or the 786, okay? And because I have the Fibonacci retracement in reverse, expecting downside, that's why it's looking that way. With that being said, the stochastic RSI on this weekly chart, we have potential to push up to maybe like $32 and then see a reversal coming down to lower. Again, looking at pulling back a bit, but not overly too far. If we actually go ahead and grab that, and let's hypothetically say we do move up into this range, then potentially we're talking about going down into $9 range. Now, I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. I think we've actually on a smaller time frame completed the move here, and this weekly chart is not actually showing us the actual ABC to the downside in this move here, and then we start to see a pretty good traction to the upside here, running quite nicely from this bottom area of about $15. So overall, I'm pretty optimistic at this point with Chainlink. It's why I actually went in and bought more Link. I think it was on Wednesday just before we had that pullback, right? So we actually bought a reasonable amount of Chainlink. I bought some Polkadot, I bought some Matic, and I think Chris has also been buying up things like VeChain, MTV, etc. So we were actually buying quite a fair amount of cryptocurrency on Wednesday before we actually saw the pullback. We thought things had actually kind of reached the bottom. Happy to say I was wrong on that one. We actually did see a little bit further of a pullback, but Chainlink's actually recovered quite well, even in profit on the coins that I actually bought. So my dollar cost averaging on that one's actually looking pretty good right now. So ultimately, I think Chainlink is starting to get some decent traction, right? We have still got a journey to make. It's not going to be instant. It's not going to be quick. And we should acknowledge that, this push to the upside is going to take some time. In terms of the fib here, we actually have a trend-based Fibonacci retracement tool. And the 4.236 does show us with $218. This is basically taking a look at the low area that we were in September of 2020. The high area that we were in April, May 2021, and of course that pullback, that low point that we had in July 2021. Take all three of those trends into consideration. It then predicts out that we potentially could be on the horizon here, or looking at the next kind of move taking us to $218, okay, depending on whether or not we are in a bull trend or bear trend, right? But when we actually take a look at those trends and we think, okay, well, there's a possibility here that we continue to grow, and Chainlink's very well positioned to continue that growth. So take that with a pinch of salt, but it gives us a bit of a flavor and a bit of an idea as to where things could potentially be going. Now, when we actually take a look at this on our daily, we can actually see that we have a conservative target. This is at $182 for Chainlink, in the same way that we had a Solana with a $185 conservative target. Okay, and again, this is kind of my expectation. And running from where we are right now, it's not actually a huge X percentage. It's a 6X on the current price. So again, very, very comfortable, nothing too crazy, and something I can see actually occurring. So something that I kind of aligned to within my exit strategies, but make sure you have got one of those sorted. Now, we should also, acknowledge the elephant in the room here, and that is that we are overbought on our stochastic RSI. Now, this is a true also for a few days ago. On the 27th of December, we were overbought. We pulled back, a reasonable amount. If we actually go ahead and measure the distance here, if I grab the tool, we can see that we actually pulled back 22%, and we wiped that stochastic out pretty quickly and then started to grow rapidly back to the upside. So again, people were potentially shaken out, and if you're fortunate enough to kind of get in that early, then you're basically now 43% up in the green if you got back in down here, for example. So that's actually looking pretty good. And obviously we are expecting a bit of a pullback, but I do want to talk about this triangle in a second as well. So ultimately, ABC up, ABC down. We can see that ABC down here playing out perfectly as expected. This actually then goes into, if I go to my 4-hourly chart, what I believe to be an Elliott wave triangle, and then we saw the breakout from here. So basically the A wave coming down, a B wave up, C wave down, D wave, and then an E wave. Again, all of these aligning nicely into what we would expect, which would be A, B, C moves inside this triangle. Nothing out of the ordinary here whatsoever. Pretty much what you would expect to kind of see with these moves. And obviously as this triangle got tighter, as did those A, B, C moves, and then we got this big break. Now, this break to the upside here, we can acknowledge it as several different moves. Now, obviously I'm on the 4-hourly chart, so we can acknowledge here that we have 5 impulsive moves if you want to. I'm not going to necessarily kind of count it this way, but you can if you want to. I would just say it's a big A wave, but we can acknowledge that's also that there. You could also count that as 5 waves down if you want, but we would know that would actually be, more of a corrective pattern. Should be a 3-wave count. So again, you might want to kind of just realign that to kind of see what kind of analysis that you kind of want there. But we also have a double bottom here as well, so that you should acknowledge that. And before we continue this growth to the upside, again, you could count this as a 1 through 5 if you wanted to, really depending on how you want to do your wave counts. But personally, again, I would align this more to an ABC move. But again, it is there. Then obviously we are in this pattern right here. We can see big pullback, push up, and then we failed to kind of get that traction to the downside. So what we were actually looking for here is to see that kind of completion, that kind of C wave to the low. Now, obviously, the daily needs a bit of a correction. We can see here that the hourly needs a bit of a correction. So we should be on we should expect, I should say, that we are likely to pull back down here with Chainlink, right? So as I come in here and I actually go ahead and pull this up, we can do it this way. We might as well. We obviously have this point here. Now, we've almost retraced all the way to the top here. So if that is our top right there, the most likely and most probable space to pull back down to, if I go ahead and just draw the ABC on, would be this area just down here at $22. So basically, this actually then forms continuation. It's sideways trading. Okay, still aligning with our wave counts, but it's basically just trading sideways between a few key levels. I'll actually mark these up with a horizontal array, so we can kind of see right in here we have that top at $27, and right down here at the bottom we have a local bottom coming in at $22.30. So this is the most probable kind of scenario. Now, if we actually complete this ABC to the downside here with continuation, it's continuation of the trend to the upside, then ultimately that should continue that trend, continue that growth to the upside overall. And if we actually jump back into our weekly view, we know that we're at the bottom of this wave 2 looking to push up, right? And when we push up, we're likely to go higher than we were with this wave 1, and potentially then taking us much higher. Now, hypothetically, it is obviously the hypothetically because we don't know whether this is impulsive or not, but if it is, then we can take this as an ABC move to start with. We'll grab hold of our fibs, we'll run the fib up here from the high of our A down to the low there, and actually I did that slightly wrong. Let me just pop that back on there for a second, down to the bottom here, and then we throw that up. A C wave here would actually come in at about $40. So if we go past $49, that's then impulsive, right? So that's kind of the thing that we're looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that for a second. I'm going to grab a horizontal ray for our weekly chart, and I'm going to just quickly mark up that target just there. I might actually just move it across here as well, so we have a bit of a target across, and then I can delete it. Yeah, so that's our impulsive target. If we actually cross that on the next leg to the upside, then that's going to basically mean that we are in this wave 3, and it's not just an ABC corrective move. Going sideways at this point. But again, even trading sideways on this weekly chart, as a continuation pattern, the trend going into that continuation is up, and therefore very, very confident to say that we'll continue the push to the upside on that front as well. But obviously, we should acknowledge and we should be very aware that the daily stochastic RSI needs a correction. So we are expecting downside. We can kind of see it just here on our daily right now. The hourly is also indicating that we are actually potentially finishing this correction, but the 4 hourly needs correcting. The 8 hourly is actually looking pretty good as well. So we're expecting volatility. I'm expecting us to kind of trade within a bit of a bound here. We might actually start to see some interesting kind of moves form out here. So here's that A wave down, the B wave up again. That would be a bigger A, B, and C. And now we're actually trying to find that kind of ABC correction to the downside here. So again, pulling down, pushing up, and pulling back down again. So again, this hourly stochastic RSI, I would see this thing potentially, coming down, pushing up, coming down to that kind of effect. So we can see this stochastic moving pretty rapidly, I would have thought, to the upside, to the downside as we kind of complete out these patterns. Of course, I would love to see that this actually, this bigger pattern here with this ABC not be in play, and we just continue that growth to the upside. But it's too soon to say. Even if we were to acknowledge that this is a really, really tight kind of ABC correction that never went impulsive, which is also a possibility, then this here being an ABC move, we would also want to check whether or not this then actually turns us impulsive over here, and it doesn't. You can see how it doesn't. So I am still thinking this is continuation. We should continue to kind of trade sideways in here whilst we get all of those stochastic RSIs across those timelines aligned once again for good continued growth. So over the weekend, I kind of expect some sideways trading with Link, but I think longer term is looking incredibly bullish for Chainlink and everything that is going on there. I do expect this to get that kind of 6x, and yeah, it should be pretty comfortable kind of returns for the last leg of this bull run. So guys, if you have found this video useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. As I said before, there's a link in the description down below for our Discord server. Why not jump on over there? You'll be able to talk to us, ask us questions, and of course we do drop down a more technical analysis down there. Why not check out Patreon if you're looking for more around strategies, bear markets, accumulation, additional TAs, and member-only live streams. Why not check that out as well? Guys, with all that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.